Welcome to IBridge, Experiential Learning Talks. In the past talks, we went to Russia, Georgia, Kazakhstan, and today we're moving to Italy. And we welcome our dear friend, Ms. Janecke Aarnaes. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, Janecke?
Thank you. I'm very well, Francesco. Thank you for hosting me at this Experiential Learning podcast.
Welcome. It is a great pleasure to have you and to have an informal chat with you. And hopefully you are going to share some insight and tips to future aspiring leaders.
I hope so. It would be wonderful to be able to contribute to somebody who makes a choice to go into the absolutely most important profession in the world. So I'll be happy to share anything that can inspire anyone to to spend their life dedicated to learning.
Thank you. So tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah. So I'm an educational leader, but first and foremost, I am maybe passionate about learning and passionate about students and children's opportunity to develop a strong sense of self and believe that we can all, no matter how small we might feel as an individual, make a difference. And I think that's really what education has been for me since I started in this profession. I kind of fell into the world of education by chance. It wasn't a strategic choice when I went or when I graduated and then went on to university to study. I started my career studying international politics and was aiming for a career in the international world. And then while I was a student, I started teaching adults and absolutely loved that role that I had. And these encounters that I made with adults who had, for many reasons, failed when they were in school. And I thought maybe my career path needs to change. So I stayed in education, continued my own education and finished my degree, but stayed in education instead of going into the world of international business or international organizations. But then later on in life, I managed to combine both. And it couldn't have been better because now I'm an international educator. So I get to do exactly what I thought I would do when maybe I was 16, 17, 18. But I do something which is so incredibly meaningful. So I've been around the world as a head of school in different countries. I have started up schools in different countries. And now 2 years ago, I came to Italy, which is not my home country, but it's a beautiful place to call home.
Where are you now?
Now I am in my office in a small, quirky school, which is an IB Continuum school in Bologna, the International School of Bologna. And sitting in a building which was built 450 years ago, not necessarily built for a school. So we make do with what we have and make sure that what we teach is meaningful, even if our building is not purposeful for our programs.
Yes, thank you. You have seen all these challenges in education where people are talking about standardizing education, standardizing tests and individual path. So there are many different challenges which for us as a leader, we need to be focused on reshape the educational pathways. And what do you think? In what way we can contribute to make these educational pathways different for new future, to nurture students and to inspire them to see things differently and move them in a direction that is going to be more skillful and more individual and more helpful for them?
It's a very good question. It's a very big question. I think, Francesco, both you and I are maybe fortunate as educators. We are in IB schools. I am assuming that we've made this choice very consciously because there are many curriculums, of course, around the world. All curriculums are aiming to prepare students for life beyond school. But from what I have seen and the curriculums that I know, there are very few curriculums that actually prepare students for life beyond school and to set them up with the skills that they need to be successful in life. Whereas the IB has taken that seriously from the start, that it is not necessarily the knowledge that we impart in students, but the skills that we allow them to hone when they are with us, that will prepare them to make ethical decisions, that will prepare them to be critical thinkers, that will prepare them to understand that no two perspectives are necessarily right or wrong. They are individual, and they might be right in their own regard, they might be wrong in a different regard, but to have that sense of respect for the unknown and to approach things with an open mind and curiosity. I think the curricula that allow that to be a significant component of the education will, in my opinion, be the right path to choose, because of course we cannot create an individual curriculum for each and individual soul that goes through an education path. There needs to be some kind of framework. But if that framework is flexible enough to allow students' voice to dominate the learning, so that the teacher is not looking at, okay, I have these 169 outcomes that I need to cover within my course, and there is no time for questioning. If we can throw that out and rather put in a conceptual topic that can be discussed and an approach that will allow students to really use their reflective skills and shape that part of their brain so that they can be better prepared when they go out and kind of meet the reality outside the confinement of the safety of the school walls. I think that's a way to at least approach education in today's society that hopefully will help young people be better prepared for life. Something that I've thought a lot about lately is that whatever policy we put in place for our students or our learners really are the policies that apply to all of us. So the strategies that I try to revert to and always bring to the forefront with my colleagues are really what we expect of our students is what we expect of ourselves. We may have a policy for students, but we might not have the same for our colleagues. But yet, if we have a policy for our students, well, we actually have it for our community. It doesn't really matter if it was written with the idea of our colleagues in mind. If it was written for our students, that's the strategy, or that's the kind of the regulatory framework that we will turn to if we need, if I need a policy to back a decision. So I'm constantly talking about this with my colleagues, that whatever we think is the right thing for our students really means it needs to be the right thing for us, because we are the adults in this institution. If our students look towards us, which we expect them to do, we need to be the role models that they can lean on. And therefore, whatever applies to them needs to apply to us similarly.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely, yes. The role of the head of a school, the role of the leader in a school is not easy, and sometimes require wearing many different hats or many different things and many different qualities and certain skills. When you bring or when you talk to your community, to parents, stakeholders, to students, what are the principles, or what makes you take some decision that sometimes could be not accepted by your community? So in what way you are able to, as we can say in a circus way, how are you able to juggle things?
Yes. Again, I think being conscious about the values, the values of our school, the values of our program. We, being in an IB school, we have the IB Learner Profile principles. They are not for somebody else. They are for us. So, and of course, we might be speaking to an audience now that are not in IB schools, but they will have their principles, their values, and they are not for anyone else. They are for their community. So for me, it's always important to go back to the values and to be able to say that based on ABC, or always with our students in the best interest in mind, this decision might not be an optimal decision for section X or person Y, but for our students, for our community, this is the right decision, because this is what is going to help them. It will create a better platform for them, whatever the the object of or the objective of the reason is. So always remembering that the values apply to all of us. Communicating these decisions are maybe also an essential part of how successful they can be. Very often you need to make decisions. Sometimes you can communicate in advance, sometimes you can't, depending. But then at least if you can't communicate in advance, if there's no kind of precursor that will allow your community to understand the reason why you or the school has come to this decision, at least then communicate afterwards that these were the challenges we had. This is what we wanted to solve. This is the decision. This is the decision. Sorry, we made based on these principles, and with referencing, because this is the mission and vision of our school. This is our objective. Also knowing that being a leader is not the same as pleasing everyone, but it's to keep everyone's best interest at heart. But keeping everyone's best interest at heart is not the same as giving everybody a lollipop.
That's fantastic. Great closure. So really, really good. My last question is about providing to people tips, opportunities, or things to think about. So what advice will you give to aspiring educational leaders who are looking to move into this next step and also to make a positive contribution in their community, in their context?
So first of all, I think it's really important that people believe that they can, and always trust that you only gain experience if you dare to leap into something unknown. A lot of people might think that, no, I can't because I don't have the experience, or I have never done it before, so I will not be trusted. But if you at least, and we say this the same about the students, whenever we want our students to do something, we want them to be a risk taker. We want them to dare to do something completely unknown to them so that they can challenge themselves. And I'd say the same to any educator who is curious about a leadership role, that the first principle is to be a risk taker and to dare to put yourself forward for something. It could be a small role in the school, that maybe the school is looking for somebody to run an activity that hasn't been run in the school. Maybe that's the first step into a leadership role. But just put yourself forward and dare to trust that you can be trusted, even if you do not have the experience. Because we want people who are curious to learn new things and to keep that open mind. I think as a leader, it's really important to always think of yourself as a learner. It is not about being the one who can tick all the boxes and say, okay, I know this, I know this, I know that. And therefore I am the best person to be the leader. I said, no, I am maybe the one who ticks the fewest boxes. But I am the risk taker. I am the one who is curious about new things. I want to learn new things. I am willing to ask questions. I am not afraid that I need to know things and therefore I don't dare to ask. On the contrary, I'm curious to ask questions and use my community to grow. And I think those are really important elements for an aspiring leader, that they do not perceive leadership as being kind of an oracle of all knowledge, but rather somebody who can dare to be that role model, because a leader is also somebody who is curious and follows. So it's both.
Yes, I love the sentence that you say that you use your community to grow. And so create an understanding of what you have around you and bring them together and move forward together. So amazing, really, really good. Thanks a lot for sharing your thoughts and your expertise with our audience, and lovely to see you again, and look forward to see you in the future.
It was lovely to be here with you. Thank you very much for hosting me, and best of success to anyone who's listening who wants to further grow as an educational leader or just as an educator.